A section of the public is questioning why the abundance of maize on the market has not translated into a reduction in the price of kenkey. This comes after the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana revealed that more than 200,000 metric tons of paddy rice and maize from the last farming season remain unsold, with several rice farms still unharvested. We'll be hearing from the president of the association shortly, but first, listen to some Ghanaians who say they expected the glut to reflect in cheaper kenkey prices, yet vendors have maintained their prices, especially the old one.
I bought 5 cedi of kenkey. It cannot reach me, so I request another one. So I make 10 cedi before I was satisfied. So if they are saying that the maize and the rice is abundant, one full bag is 200 Ghana cedi. And then when you buy kenkey 5 cedi like this, you can't satisfy unless you buy 2 or 3. The government will come in and talk about it.
The kenkey is not only the maize. They have this one, the leaf. They will buy it separate. They will use water to cook it. They will use firewood. Then they will use pepper. You can't buy only the kenkey and send it home unless they add pepper for you. That one too is another.
But I really enjoy eating kenkey and bankum. In the villages, they are much cheaper, but here in Accra, the prices are too high. These days, kenkey costs around 7 to 8 cedis. I think the government should step in and support the farmers.
Well, taking a cue from the first speaker, one kenkey will not satisfy. Some of us would have to eat about 12 of it. But let's take a closer look at the details of that statement from the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. We shall speak to the president later. But on your screen now, grain glut in Ghana concerns of Peasants Farmers Association of Ghana. So over 200,000 metric tons of unsold paddy rice and maize remain from the last farming season. And paddy rice is the unprocessed rice that hasn't been harvested or processed for you to eat. But many rice farms are still unharvested, leaving farmers at a risk of total loss. The statement as well continues to break it down as to why bird invasion, bushfires, and limited harvesting capacity threatening farmers' investments. The situation could derail government's Feed Ghana program. They have been explaining why. They say that for the Feed Ghana program, if the government is not able to clear this grain glut, then people or farmers will not be interested in participating. Farmers fear it will discourage youth participation in farming next season. The statement also continues to say that the National Buffer Food Stock Company earlier released 100 million Ghana cedis to buy excess maize, rice, and gari. However, farmers have yet to benefit and no data exists on which districts received this support. And also, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has since announced an additional 100 million to ease the crisis. But this is just a steps of the statement, the small. But let's speak to the president of the Peasants Farmers Association of Ghana, Wepea Adugwala, to shed more light on this worsening grain glut affecting farmers across the country. Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the news today. So you note that there's currently an estimated 200,000 metric tons of grain stuck in storage due to the glut. How severe is this year's grain glut compared to previous years?
Yeah, good afternoon and to your listeners. And then, so like we indicated in the statement, we've had a good harvest within the year. And after getting this good harvest, of course, as farmers, we expect that we'll be able to sell and make something out of it to prepare us for the next planting season. So like the statement indicated, we have a lot of paddy rice that is sitting, which we are not able to sell, and then they are harvesting maize. Some farmers are also even preparing to plant again, but of course we need money to be able to get inputs to do the plantation, and that is the source of worry to us as farmers.
Well, so this year you say 200,000 metric tons. I'm curious, is this the worst as farmers you have experienced so far, or this is just an exception?
Oh, yeah. So if you look at, like I indicated, the over 200,000 metric tons, it's been a good season for us. And if you go across the country, you realize that there's a lot of paddy that is sitting in many places that has not been sold. It's one of the biggest production that we have had. It's just one of the biggest that we have had in the country.
Okay. A part of your statement that has our attention as well is that the 100 million that the National Food Buffer Stock had said that it released. What have you been learning about this amount of money and as to how it's been utilized so far for an association?
Exactly. That is why we have indicated that the first one that was released, we haven't seen the activities of buffer stock on the ground as long as our members are concerned. Because what we expect is that if the money is released to buffer stock company, we need to know the companies that are coming to buy the produce. We need to know the communities that they are supposed to buy. And because our members didn't see much of the first 100 million Ghana cedis that was released, that is why there's a bit of agitation. And of course, government also responding by releasing the second batch of the 100 million is a good gesture. But this time around, want to track the progress of it. That is why we have indicated in the statement that we want to know which companies or which people have been awarded the contracts to buy from us, which communities are they going to buy, and the timelines too are very, very important to us. So it's something that we have been waiting to get information from the buffer stock. In fact, all what we want is that those who have been given contracts to buy should be on the ground buying the rice.
Right.
They should be on the ground doing the activity. Because when they are there, the farmers will see them. There will not be any agitation. We know that they are moving from community A to community B, and that is very, very important to us. But if we normally hear announcement that 100 million has been released, and we don't see the corresponding activities on the ground, then it becomes quite worrying to us as farmers.
Finally, beyond this amount of money that's been released so that you can see the purchases on ground, what other measures can we use to curb? I see you're also recommending that institutions purchase local rice. Is this another measure that will help curb the situation?
Of course, we will expect government to direct all public institutions to be buying from us. It's very, very important. You look at the school feeding program, it's very key to us. Public institutions like the military and other, those other who are under the control of government advance money to them who are doing food purchases. Government should be able to have a policy directing them to buy from the local farmers, whether it is maize or it is rice and all that, because we need to eat what we grow. Because government cannot be giving taxpayers money to public institutions, and then you are buying foreign rice, exporting jobs and investment to foreign countries, and leaving our own farmers to struggle, and then we can't continue that way, especially with government policy of making Ghana become self-sufficient in rice production. If we don't buy to empower these farmers, if they are discouraged and they cut down on production, then of course it will defeat government's own purpose of making Ghana become self-sufficient in rice production and other foodstuffs.
Mr. Apia, thank you so much for joining us on the news today. We shall be following up to see the response from government on this particular matter.